Alright, it's time to work on Illustrator play number 3 using the text tools. Notice that we have to add a new layer for each text element with this project, just like we did with the brushes. But in this one, we're going to use the text tool to create different text and styles on the page. We have to use at least 4 different text styles, and we have to use different colors for each text. So we're going to double click each layer. Okay. So we want to think about proportion on this one too. So I'm going to Illustrator. I have to make sure that I'm in the file that I named Illustrator Play 3 because the teacher's going to be looking for my number 3 and fonts. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the T tool. There's all these options. You're going to stick with the main one, the Type tool. Now, if I draw a box with the Type tool, it creates what we call fill text. It just puts in some fake text. We'll call that fill text. Over here, I can choose what font I want it to be. So if I click on this, I have so many different font options, and it shows me kind of what the font looks like on the side. So I'm going to pick a font that is pretty simple. I like Rosewood, and regular is fine. Now Rosewood, I'm going to make it bigger, and I'm going to spell my name. Ms. Van Buren loves fonts. And you know what? I actually want to make this box go across the whole page, so I'm going to take my arrow to select it, and I can even just make it bigger, make it wider. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the T tool, and if I select that, I can make it centered. I want to make it bigger than 36. Maybe I want to make it 48. 36. 36 is too small. 48 is too big. I'll just highlight it and I'll make it like 40. That's too small. Maybe I do like 44. Okay, whatever. Now you can see that right now it's just plain black and white. Maybe I just want to make the word loves stand out. So I'm going to change the fill to like a red. And now you can see, oh, and it doesn't have a stroke, so I can add like a black stroke. So now you can see how the word loves is red and black while the rest is just black and white. Cool, right? Maybe not. I don't know. So I've got one font. So now we're going to go to layers, and we can see I have one layer. Remember how you have to do 4 fonts and they have to be different colors and they all have to be their own layer? So in the layers panel, you're going to go over here and you're going to choose new layer and say, okay, now I have a layer 2. Now I'm ready to select my T tool again and kind of draw a box where I want my text to go. And I'm going to type in and video because I also teach video and I also love video, but I got to change the font to something else. Emojis are cute, but we want to use something where I can actually read the words. So how about, oh, I don't know. Let's try Impact. That's one of my favorite fonts, too. It's nice and solid, strong. Maybe make it, I'm going to make this one even bigger, video. And instead of being black text, I'm going to make it purple text. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a yellow outline because I just have so much school spirit. And make it a 2-point outline. So I'm going to go back to my black arrow. And now I have Miss Van Buren loves fonts and video. And if I look at my layers, I can see that I have, this layer has Miss Van, this layer has and video. Cool. So guess what? I'm going to repeat this process 2 more times by creating a new layer, selecting the T tool, drawing my box, typing in what I want, and so I put and graphic design, but right now it's the same font as the other one, so I have to go back to properties, and I need to pick a different font. How about the skinny Century Gothic? That looks kind of cool. And there's a couple options. I want to make it bold italic, and I'm going to make it smaller. Not that small. Maybe like that small. And I'm going to make this one sort of aligned to the right. And I don't black. I've already used black, so let's go with, I already used purple. Shoot. Let's go with green. Okay. And then I just grab my black arrow and I can move it wherever I want it. And, oh, don't forget, you need to keep adding a new layer for each of your 4. Created a new layer, grab the T-tool, draw in a box. This time, I want to do and yearbook, because that's another class that I teach. And I'm going to go back to properties, and I want like a swirly, sort of cursive-y looking font. I don't know about this black adder. That makes me think of pirates. Arr! I know I'm cheesy. Just bear with me. Fonts can be so ugly sometimes, right? I guess I'll try this freestyle script, and I'll make it a lot bigger so it's easier to read. And I still can't use black because I already used black. So why don't I go with, I use purple, green. I'll go with blue. Pick a shade of blue. And then I'm going to switch to my arrow tool. And that lets me move this wherever I want it on the screen. Okay, let me check the directions now. Let's see where I'm at. I have 4 layers. I have 4 different fonts. They're all different colors. Let's see. Think about design. Work with proportion on this one. You know what? I'm going to ask you to create more than 4. The 4 is the bare minimum. And I'm going to go ahead and type in here my favorite, the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law abridging. Alright, I typed all 45 words of the First Amendment in my 5th layer. That's too big, it doesn't fit. I'm going to make it maybe 55 points to fit. We'll play with that. Okay, but I don't want to use the same font, so I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to make it a boring font that's easy to read, like Times New Roman or something. Right? That's one we use all the time. We used to. Times New Roman. And I'll go ahead and adjust the size. That's a little better. That's still too big. Go with 36 point. Okay, so establishment of religion. That's part of the First Amendment that I think is really cool. I'm going to change that to red, and I'm going to pick a different font. Let's see. I'll go with Berlin. Okay, and then freedom of speech. That's another important part of the First Amendment. I'm going to go ahead and change that to orange and change that to Cooper. I like Cooper Standard, Cooper Black. Alright, and then freedom of the press, that's another one. But I'm not going to make it yellow because you can't read yellow, so I'm going to give it a yellow outline instead. And I'm going to make it like a 3-point. And let's keep switching it up using different fonts. Curls. Ugh, curls, I really don't like curls sometimes. So I'm going to change it to Courier New. So we have establishment of religion, freedom of the press. Why is that? That's still, maybe I make it smaller. That's a little better. Okay, the right of people to peaceably assemble. That means that we can like gather on public streets without getting arrested, as long as we're peaceful. I don't know. This one's kind of cool. The Kristen ITC. I'll make that one blue. We're just going, or green. We're just going with the rainbow theme now. So it's freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, right to peaceably assemble, and the last one is the right to petition the government, which just simply says we can complain to our government and we can say, dear government, I have this petition, I want to change something. And they won't put us in jail like in other countries for doing that. So that's fun. Rights. Yay, having rights. Alright, let's go ahead and put it on the script. And I'm going to give this one, let's see, I'm going to make this one blue. And so now I have my number 3, and oh, I don't like how that's aligned to the right. I'm going to select it all and make it centered. Okay, so now I have my Miss Van Buren Loves Fonts and Video and Graphic Designs in Yearbook. They're multiple layers, and then I did this other thing on the bottom half so that I could sort of fill up the space a little bit more evenly, and you can see that I have a pretty good looking page for just playing around. I'm going to go ahead and file and save. Make sure you don't forget to save. And then next one will be the final one.